Hello, another week on the run. So this is week commencing Monday, 5th of July 2021, of course. Yes, I planned a 4 or 5 days on the run this week. Yeah, as usual, my fuel prices. So my Shell card I get for UK fuels is 105.89. And then my BWOC card or BWOC card, which is their own card, their Control 4 Diesel C4D, which uses a Key Fuels network, that's 105.01. Yeah, so I haven't written down what it is included in that, but 105.01 times 1.2 will be what I pay including in that. I'll put it on the screen. Excuse me. Yeah, so started a bit late this morning, about I'm just getting tired. About 20 to 10 actually, before I started looking for jobs, just because it's a bit slow getting going. But I got a job really quickly, like 10 to. It's a job I'd done a few weeks ago for the first time. Pick up in like Wolverhampton, WV10, which is like just off the M54 really. Or like M6, M54 junction sort of way. Junction 11, the M6. It's one pallet, €1 up to Oldham. This company seemed to do a lot of castings, jobs for castings. It was only €1, but it was like in like a wooden case for all these castings, of course, and it was like 950 kilograms. So I picked that up. Pretty straight run up to Oldham, but they had actually shut the M6 this morning going north at junction 11, so it was all traffic was coming off. So, but coming from Walsall, I could see that, so I went through sort of Walsall itself and Bloxwich, which is like north of Walsall, and got there. Anyway, got loaded pretty quick, got to the other side. Similar thing that happened to me last week. I've never really had it before, but I did it twice in a week now. They're on their lunch. Got there about 1:45. So I had like 15-minute wait. Could have been a lot worse because the lunch was from 12 until 1. So, and that full hour's lunch is quite long really for like a manufacturing place. Could have been a lot worse if I turned up just after 12 with an hour's wait. But I didn't bother ringing the shipper because he loaded me quick, and then I was unloaded after 20 minutes anyway. So yeah, that was pretty straightforward. That put me in Oldham, which is kind of like to the east of Manchester. Took me a while to get another job. The feed was fairly busy, but not busy like it was last Thursday, Friday, but I think that's just the Monday effect. And I was being a bit fussy. I wasn't going for like local jobs or like minimum charge jobs. I wanted to get a long job in, a longish, because it's like only 85 off that first job. So if I was going to make money for the day, it had to be a good job really. In the end, I got a job out of Manchester M40, which is like South Manchester, over to Llandudno in North Wales. I bid on this and I didn't get it for like half an hour, so I totally forgot about the job. Llandudno, North Wales, which is sort of, that's the Great Orme there. No, done the wrong way. Great Orme you can see, and the mainland, that bit in between, the really low lying bit. It's Llandudno. So a tip there, turned out it was alcohol. I quoted this, it was 86 miles, and I quoted it £118, medium, long wheelbase, and I got it. I didn't say anything on the job about alcohol, didn't know it was alcohol until I got it. But I basically quoted it from where I was to picking it up to delivering it in Llandudno, and then miles back to sort of like D-side way, Broughton. So that's why I went in at 118. He rings me up and says, yeah, it's alcohol. Well, I found out it was alcohol then. Got the job anyway. I wasn't going to try and knock him for more money, say, oh, it's alcohol, I need handballers or whatever, because, you know, 118 quid for 86 miles. So yeah. Anyway, got it. Got over there, loaded, eventually, bit of a faff. Well, not a faff, just a bit of a wait, really. Kind of get ignored at some of these places. It's one of the big alcohol distribution depots. Yeah, and then came down here, no traffic, tipped it. It's funny, there's a pub I used to drink in quite a lot. I drank plenty of there. I don't really drink anymore, but I used to drink a lot, you know, in the 20s. Yeah, kind of know quite a lot. Or that way down the coast to Bangor, that was the other haunt where I grew up for nights out. Anyway, I delivered about 1,400 litres of liquor, not liquor, but mostly beer, some cider, 17 kegs, 64 Ks each. There's only one guy in this place in the bar, one barman, so he hadn't opened the back gate, and it was cellar door only anyway, so I just put it behind their gate, which is lockable, and then he signed it and I left it there. And then this part of the world thought, well, I can't come down here this time in the evening and not go and visit my parents, so I've come to my hometown. So I live in Walsall, West Midlands, but my hometown is where I am now. So I thought to film it here. I've filmed this area before, doing summaries on a weekend after I come back for the weekend. Yeah, so I came back, got home, sort of like hometown, about just after 7. Nice home cooked meal for my mother's. Obviously, probably bed tonight, shower in the morning. Like I say, I've already priced in getting back towards Deeside, so I'm going to head back towards Deeside, sort of Broughton area, try and get there about 8ish, maybe just after, and then start bidding on jobs from there. So that's the plan. So only 203 quid for the day today, but did start a bit late, and Mondays are a bit slower, so, and I've got to come home, see the folks and have a proper meal. So yeah, pretty decent start for the week. It's not all about the money. Gael Cymraeg y Dydd, Welsh word of the day. Yes, I almost forgot. So I did film an update back in the motherland. Yeah, so Welsh word for today was trife, because I was sat on a trife. So trife is a Welsh word for beach. I'll put it on the screen because if you read it, it kind of sounds right. So trife is beach. You'll see it on signs, you know. If you're ever going for a beach, but again, bilingual. Right, yes. Tuesday evening now, about 8:20. I'm like 2.5 jobs down. I'm mid on my third job. I can't drop it for a bit. Yeah, so I was heading this morning towards back from the North Wales coast, so I left the house about 7:45, which is slightly later than I thought I'd planned to, but that seems to be the way with me, as you notice. I'm a bit slow to get going in the mornings. Yeah, and then on the way I saw a job ping up, so I pulled over and bid on it. It was only a small van job, but it was from somewhere called Holywell, which is kind of getting into North Wales, but not far from, like, you know, Deeside and stuff. Going to Preston. I quoted 65 quid for it. And he rang me up and says, can I do it for 60? And I thought, well, I've already priced the miles to get further east than that on yesterday's job. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it for 60. And then they sent it through and it's at 65 anyway. So they obviously forgot to change it. So I just left it like that. I'm not going to ring them about that. So yeah, I picked it up. It's just like one stillage with some shortish lengths of fabric on from one like sofa manufacturing place. It would have probably gone in a small van, but if you handballed the stuff on, but I don't think the stillage would. But anyway, yeah, loaded wise, it worked out 90p a mile. This job got up to Preston, delivered it to another sofa manufacturing place. I don't know if they're the same company or whatever, same group, but yeah, anyway, got that tipped, pulled up round the corner, job pinged up really close to where I was. It was like 3 miles from it, from Preston down to Birmingham. It was 1 ton, 1 pallet, so I thought, look, it's 106 miles, so I went in at £1 a mile, got it. Again, that was one I didn't get straight away, like 20 minutes or something. Picked it up from the actual transport, smallish sort of transport company, not with trucks, didn't they just have vans, like more of the couriers. Quite a low CX number, so they've been on there a fair while. Never done the job from before, I don't think. It turned out to be nitrous oxide in small canisters in boxes on a pallet. I did say to the guy, this isn't you sure this doesn't need ADR? And he says no, because it's limited quantities, it's down to the size. That thing again. So nitrous oxide, that's kind of what they put in cars, isn't it, to make them go faster. And I did have it confused initially with liquid nitrogen. It's definitely not that. That'd be way too dangerous. Yeah, it says UN 1070, so I might look it up later just to double check. But I took this guy's word for it, got loaded, got down to Birmingham. Bit of a funny this one. He says once you get loaded, give the contact and ring and tell them what time you're going to be there. So I did that, and he says, "Oh, can't you get here any sooner, mate?" And I says, "Well, I'm in Preston. That's a direct drive. That's as long as it's going to take to get there." So yeah, got there. Bit of a strange tip, this one. It was like in sort of to the east of Birmingham city centre, B7. Could have been B11 actually, from memory. Anyway, it's like a garage unit, like an old style one, with a really narrow roller shutter. And you went in it, and then it was like immediately a steep ramp, and then the garage inside was flat, and there's cars. So initially I was concerned the roof of the van was going to catch the top of the shutter, but that was fine, because the ramp kind of went off the road, up really steep, and then levelled off. On the way up I did actually scrape my exhaust, but it looks alright now. Had to handball it off because there's no forklift, but the guy helped, so I just basically took them off the pallet and put them by the back door aperture, and he took them from there. Yeah, young lad. So he was a young lad in a posh Range Rover. His mate turned up in a posh Mercedes convertible V8 twin turbo thing. Young lads obviously got a bit of money from doing something. This guy said he was a wholesaler, but it was odd. Delivered to like a garage, and he just left his stuff in the corner. All a bit weird, really. And he said to me, because there's another pallet, apparently the same stuff come in, and he said to me, "Oh, there's plenty of space on there. Why didn't they just put it on this same van?" And I was like, "Well, this is a ton, mate. I'm pretty much fully loaded with this." And before that, he'd said, when I spoke to him about the ramp and grounding out and stuff, and he goes, "Oh yeah, when we sometimes bring a van in here with 3 pallets, we have to handball one off from outside, and then it'll come in with the other 2. I was thinking, surely it doesn't mean 3 of these pallets, but maybe he did. I don't know. It's all a bit scary, really. Some people, I don't think you had any idea how much weight you can put in a normal van. It's a bit scary, some stuff you hear. But anyway, yeah, so got out and tipped. A bit of a wait then for my next job. In Birmingham, I'd say feed wasn't massively busy. For me, when it's busy when you're in somewhere like Birmingham, you kind of expect it to be pretty much constant. I've had it like that. It was like that like August, September last year. And when I first went on a CX before COVID, like early March, it was a bit like that. Yeah, so there was jobs, but like not as busy as I was hoping it would be. So I bid on a job from sort of like West Bromway, which is 10 miles from where I was, across Birmingham, going down to Cambridge. It was pick up like 4 o'clock or before 4 or just after 4, but you can't tip it till 10:30. So I thought it's either going to be a distribution centre, you got a time slot, or you're going to meet an engineer. I thought so. It was 111 miles loaded, short wheelbase, so I quoted it 125. So the miles on the job's going to be 121, so it's just over £1 a mile. But I got it, but it's a lot of waiting around. But it's kind of like evening time, it's kind of dead time. I'm getting good pence per mile. Yes, that's the job. I'm halfway through, so I'm parked in outskirts of Kettering now. I've stopped to have some chips and get some shopping. And it's like some shopping centre, not quite bang in the middle of Cambridge as in Royal Universities and stuff are, but it's, I had a look on Google Maps trying to work out which is the loading bay, and it looks like there's 2 areas to load. But if I get there sort of 10 o'clock or just after, hopefully it's going to be really quiet. Get in there, get it tipped. It's a Costa coffee, meeting a fitter, and it's some kind of units shelving type thing. So I get that tipped, and I've already scouted on my phone on the outskirts of Cambridge where I'm going to park up and tramp for the night, some residential street hopefully. So I'll stop on the way, get all my stuff ready, get there, jump in the back of the van, go to bed. So that's the plan. That's almost the end of Tuesday. Right, Thursday, excuse me, morning now. yeah, I didn't film last night an update, partly because I was working late and partly because I was listening to the England match on Radio 5 Live, and obviously it went to extra time and finished quite late and totally forgot about filming and just wanted to get to bed anyway. Slept in a van. So yeah, the job I was waiting to get done on Tuesday, the tip was fairly straightforward. The only thing to say about it was you do sometimes, this was meeting a couple of fitters outside a shopping centre rather than your normal goods in person. But sometimes the people who take it are a bit miserable, whatever. But this guy was proper grumpy, really. Kind of got on the wrong side of me, really. Turn up. Obviously, no forklift or anything on site. Not that the pallet was any particularly heavy, so he broke it down on a van. They took it out. It was just like some shelving. It was going to some coffee shop or Costa Coffee. They were fitting some units overnight, obviously. So I took it all off, some like steel parts, some laminated wood parts. And I says, yeah, well, we can break it down, but I said the normal story. I need to go same day courier. Need to go to my next drop empty. I have to leave everything. And at the end, he's like, oh, well, we don't want that. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, all packaging has to stay with you. Like I said earlier. And he goes, oh, well, I'll take the pallet, but surely you can take the rubbish. And I said, no. Because, at the end of the day, we're not waste disposal. And I said, if I keep taking rubbish from every job, I just end up with a van full of rubbish. And I've got to turn up to the next customer with an empty van. They're paying for an empty van. It's one way thing. And what kind of annoyed me with this guy was just his general attitude. And, I wasn't nasty saying any of this. Of course, I'm not a nasty person, but you just got to be firm with some people because he was just trying to save himself a job. It wasn't as if they were in small vans. This guy was in a Luton box van, loads of room in the back, and we just put it in there in the end. And he was kind of mumbling, oh, another job for me to do and stuff. But, not waste disposal. Anyway, I got that one tipped. Kept in Cambridge, and then in the morning, didn't get a job that early, but eventually got a job from a building site which was next to a hospital in Cambridge. I think it's one of these big research labs. Obviously, there's a lot of medical research that goes on in Cambridge. Obviously, it's in the news a lot now with the vaccine and stuff. Cambridge AstraZeneca and all that stuff. But a building like this, more of these research centres. I had to pick up like an access tower from some sparkies, some electricians, and take it to a higher place in Sidcup. So yeah, a bit of a wait at a pickup. One of these ones where you just got to park up. There's loads of site rules, and I just had to wait for him to come to me. So it didn't turn up for like half an hour once I got on site. It's a bit of a pain to find this place as well. I actually got loaded, but I don't generally go to South London as much as like North London and West London. But like this was just off the off the A2 outside the South Circular, and no trouble at all really. Yeah, so that's a bear in mind, not far from Dartford. That's quite a busy area. Got that tipped, parked up, wasn't waiting long. A job pinged up, and I kind of knew it. I'd done this pickup before. It's with one of the national shippers that does a lot of the COVID sample collections, but this is Orpington, and I know you pick up like materials for testing and deliver them, so it's like more boxes and stuff. It's a long wheelbase van job. I quoted 109, it was 109 miles, and they rang me up and says, oh, we've got a bid of £100, can you match it? And I thought, that's kind of a bit of a line really. It's not that long a job really. Don't really want to be going less than £1 a mile on that kind of mileage job. I wasn't that far from it, but as she says, I can do it for 105, and I said, yeah, okay, that's fine. Because I've done a fair few jobs for this shipper, and the late jobs to Norwich and stuff. I think they must have on their system, reliable or whatever. So that's where doing a good job, I think I'll get building up the feedback pays off, because you might pay more to get you to do the job rather than somebody who hasn't got as much history with them or feedback on the TX. Yes, went and picked that up, pretty straightforward. Delivered to some like events place, like event services company on a farm by Brackley. Nice countryside, nice farm, loads of like special trailers that they take to film sets and stuff there. That's quite interesting. Tip that put me not far from Banbury, so on the way there I looked for an Amazon block for the evening for Banbury. It's actually 10 miles Brackley to Banbury. I thought it was closer. So I booked one in for 6 o'clock that night, yesterday night. That was kind of like my fallback if I don't get anything else. I didn't get anything else on the CX. This is a 3.5 hour. They normally pay £13.50 per hour, but this one was paying £19 an hour, £66.50. So got that one. I had that one anyway. Thought I'd do it. Not done any Amazon for a little while. Kind of hoping that when you go to Banbury in an evening shift, it's all same day stuff, so you're driving between each one. It's not like doing the normal stuff mid-afternoon, which is like being a postman. Yeah, I was hoping it would. You can, when you go there, they ask you, do you want a CV postcode, Coventry area, or do you want OX, Oxford? Sorry about that. It's going crazy all of a sudden. I said CV. There we go again. And I got the last CV one, but it wasn't a good one because it's not north of Banbury itself. It's mostly around Stratford upon Avon and some in Shipton on Stour. The route had me doing Stratford on Avon and then coming south again to do Shipton, so I did Shipton on Stour first. I knew then I wasn't going to go home, so I stopped actually before I delivered any parcels in Shipton on Stour. I did this route before in the old van. And last time I stopped at a Chinese in Shipton, so I thought I'll just do the same again. So I went there, had the Chinese, managed to they do a special boiled rice instead of fried rice. It's a bit healthier, it's quite nice. Got that, had that, and then cracked on. Didn't actually finish the deliveries until 9:30. It was a bit of a crap route really. Quite a lot of, I'd say about a third of it was, scattered around the place and, big driveways and gates and all that kind of stuff. And then the rest of it was in Stratford. So I finished in Stratford, finished watching, listening to the football, and I went to bed. Yeah, I don't normally film during the day, but I've got a job booked in now. I can't pick it up till 9:30. There's a few jobs that come in Stratford this morning at 3. I've got one of them. It was one of these ones, phone calls only. I can't pick it up till 9:30 because I'm picking up for a shop in town, a piece of glass, taking it to Wolverhampton way somewhere. And it's, yeah, I can't pick it up till 9:30. I got it about just before 9. So I rang him up and I says, yeah, I can do it, 65 quid. And he looks at it and goes, what's your CX number, blah, blah, blah. And then he says to me, yeah, I can do 60 quid. So as if to say I said 60 quid. And I said, no, sorry, mate, I said 65. And he goes, I go on and I just need to get it covered. But it's like 54 miles. So you kind of need to get in. It's not a minimum charge job and it's not a £1 a mile job. For me, a £1 a mile job is kind of around 100 mile mark. A bit more. And then when you get above that, you can maybe go a bit less. But like 50, 60 miles, you need to be getting more like, £1.10, £1.20 a mile. That's where I'm starting to work it, especially now it's picking up, getting busier. I knew there'd be very little competition here. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now. Going to crack on, get that done. That puts me sort of Codsall, which is just off the M54 North Wolverhampton, so that'll be a good place to get a job onwards, but try and get a longer job, second job. But that'll be in the next update. Right, something I don't normally do, filming on the run, literally, when I'm moving. But really busy day today, which is good, exceptional day. And by the time I tipped, I know I'm not going to have time or the energy to film a update. It's only slow moving traffic. So yeah, I did that job this morning. Turns out it was just picking up. It was picking up from some like music and home entertainment shop. It was like a really long, thin box, quite heavy. It's like 2.5 meters. Probably wouldn't fit in their own van. So yeah, I rocked up to the shop. It was like in the middle of Stratford upon Avon. Luckily, 2 guys there. Yeah, they picked it up, and I just walked them to where I parked the van, and then I put it in the back. That's nice, didn't even have to do any handball lugging at all myself. Over to WV10, which is like north of Codsall it was really, but it's like north of Wolverhampton, not far from the M54. Tipped it to a private address, and when I got there, yeah, this company I picked up from, one of their vans was on the drive. So, you know, I think they sell this stuff and they also install it, their engineers are on site. So yeah, and they just yeah, they carried it in, so yeah, really easy on that one. So that was 65 quid. And then went to local Morrison's, got me a meal deal for the day. Wasn't waiting, I was waiting there maybe half an hour between jobs, maybe an hour. I bid on a job very close to where I was, pinged up about a mile from where I was, but it was a small van job going to, was it a small van job? I think it was, even though it was a Euro pallet, going to Stockport area, south of Manchester, actually quite 68 quid, which is, you know, more like long wheelbase money. Put in a notes, long wheelbase. And the guy rings me up straight away and says, "Oh, I can give you that. Can you help us out with another job? I'm struggling to sell." And I'm like, "Oh God." He says, it's picking up very close to where you are anyway, about a mile from the other collection, the one I kind of got. But it's going to ST14 JCB, the main factory. But he said the engineer or whoever they're supplying will meet me outside. And he said he'd pay me properly for both jobs, so I didn't really negotiate money with him, but I said, yeah, I'll do it. So he sent the first job through for 68, like a bid, and the other one just means I was kind of going, it's kind of on the way really, but instead of going at the M6, it's kind of cutting across and then ended up through cross country. Put 45 quid on that job, so I've not worked it out, but yeah, it was 113 quid. Yeah, 113 quid for 85 miles it worked out. And the second pickup, the one I dropped to JCB, was just one small box, 15 kilograms. The guy did come and meet me, so I rolled up. I rang him 20 minutes before I got there. Just pulled over and gave him a quick ring. So I arranged to meet him, no messing about at all on site. Yeah, and a really nice drive over. Never really driven through that part of the world because I was like then Utoxeter away. Roster, whatever it's called, cutting across to South Manchester instead of going back to west of the M6 and the M6 and across. The fastest route was just cross country, kind of like the Derbyshire Dales into Lancashire. Beautiful views, particularly between the JCB factory and Leek, and then through Macclesfield. Still quite nice around there. To Manchester, got that tipped. And the customer for both of these was the same company. So where I dropped the pallet was like their depot, I think, and I think they do like lots of fastenings and stuff. Yeah, and they must have people permanently at the JCB factory, probably making sure they've got all the stock right and stuff. That's who I delivered to JCB. And literally, I just delivered there, used their toilet and stuff, and then. About 4 o'clock then, I checked the feed before I'd even left their yard, because the big yard and I was parked in the corner that's out of the way. Even though I do normally say drop it in Scarp, I just didn't bother in this case. All seemed well. Yeah, there's a few jobs in there, I didn't even, and there's constantly pinging up, it seemed pretty busy. There's a job on there from Accrington to flash this truck in. Go on, Mr. Downton, or EV cargoes they're called now apparently. Anyway, yeah, some Blackburn, which was quite far north from me, because I was Stockport, the other side of Manchester, and at the M66. It's down to Chelmsford. I didn't notice on the job, but it's actually 2 pickups, the second one being in Stone by just south of Stoke, just kind of just off the road on the way really, just off the M6 and then back on again, Stafford. Got it, but it's one of these jobs that's really tight on time, so I wanted to get there by 5:15, and I was 45 minutes from it. Anyway, yeah, put it into Google Maps, said I was going to be there 5:05. Thought, great, going there, it's just going out and out and out. It's one of them ones where it's saying 20 minutes to you get there, and then you drive for 5 minutes, it's still saying 20 minutes. And I saw on the way there on the M66, going south on the M66, which is the way I would have come, there was like a really bad accident, and they were using a crane to sort some truck out, you know, like literally, you know, a crane lifting stuff on the motorway. It's never good. Anyway, got there about 15:15. Guy was waiting for me to load me, so as soon as I rocked up, he was sat on the forklift as I drove in. He was like sprung to life, got me loaded, and then as soon as I was out there, he left. So he's obviously waiting for me. Got to this, well, yeah, to go, bit of a nightmare at M66. The M6 was shut from like Lim heading north, junction 20 to 21A, and it closed both lanes. I haven't had a chance to look online, but when they do that, it's obviously they shut both lanes, and just north of Lim is the Felmore Viaduct. I hope nobody's gone over the edge, because there isn't much of a barrier really. I always think that when I'm driving up there, how dodgy it would be if a truck hit that at speed. But anyway, speculating there. Yeah, got to Stone later than, well, pretty much just about on time, 7:30. But they just left the goods anyway behind some pallets. So I rang the contact and he says, oh yeah, it's behind the pallets. Loaded that myself, and I'm on my way down now to Chelmsford. I had to stop quickly in services to get a sandwich and some crisps. So no proper meal tonight, no takeout or anything. Gonna get down to Chelmsford just after 11. So yeah, long day today. But it's over 400 quid, and that's an exceptional day really. I've not had an over 400 quid day for a few weeks, good few weeks. So that's like an exceptional day, over 400 quid. Yeah, I'm just waffling on here, so yeah, gonna get this done, tipped, find somewhere to park up, and then tomorrow, I've done my money for the week now, I've hit that 1100 quid. I'm just gonna get home, project get home tomorrow. Right, Friday evening now, project get home was a success. I got home about 4:45, so pretty decent finish for a Friday. I was very lazy this morning. Didn't start looking for jobs until 9. I didn't get to bed until about 11, midnight, maybe slightly after. I parked in a lay-by between a truck and a big motorhome, but it's one of these lay-bys. It's not like, it's probably like 2.5 widths of a vehicle long, or maybe even 3, so like a bit further away from the road, so the traffic's not whizzing straight past me. But it was still reasonably noisy. Fair bit of traffic on that road. It's like an A road, B road for that time of night. So eventually I put my earplugs in, and then that was it. It was fine. And this morning I felt quite snug there, and I just had a bit of a line. It's kind of pressure's off because I've hit my target. Well, I'd already gone over, earned more than what I aimed for. But obviously that's trying to average that. But anyway, yeah, start looking jobs 9. Got a job probably 9:30. I got it. I wasn't picking up till 10:30. It pinged up. I was 6 miles from it. A medium wheelbase job, 2 drops, one in B6 Birmingham, which is by Spaghetti Junction area, and then another one B70, which is West Brom, which is turned out to be 5 miles from home. The last drop. It's 150 miles loaded, medium wheelbase, so I went in slightly keen at 120, knowing that up until last night I was on 97 pence a mile, all miles so far. Anyway, got the job, did it. It's picking up from, said a sign company, but the things I picked up, they weren't signs at all. They were going to like joinery companies, 2 different joinery companies that do units and stuff for shop fitting. Seem to have done a fair bit of that lately. This week, and at least 2 jobs like that. And they were like parts. It was like thick plastic perspex, so maybe they've got a machine that they've bought to do something for signs, and they can also use it to do, you know, supply joiners and stuff, specialist stuff. So nobody using it for something else. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, dropped them off. Pretty straightforward. The drive up here wasn't great, but it's Friday afternoon, so yeah, like M1 was pretty slow. Actually finding this place, I had plenty of time to get there, which was just as well, because I own third attempt of trying to get to this place worked out. The first attempt, there was a width restriction, 2.1 meters, and I don't know if that's narrower than a normal width restriction. It just looked a lot narrower. So I was like, do I chance it or not? And I just chickened out. I thought, no, I'm not going to go damage the van. So I had to reverse back up. There was cars behind me, so it wasn't very popular. Anyway, got around, went another way. Google Maps tried to take me down somewhere which is now blocked off, a low road. You know, it's been permanently blocked off to stop people getting to this industrial estate area through residential street. So the third time I had to go all the big loops to get around to get to it. So job for the weekend is to, I'm trying to mention it in the summary, check how wide is my actual van. I just need to look at the spec online. Anyway, I got it dropped. Like I say, 5 miles from home. I've got home, so that is end of the week on the run. Good week. Done well money wise, done well pence per mile wise. Seen a bit of nice scenery, but anyway, more of that in the summary. Right, Sunday excuse me, afternoon now. Just a quick summary of the week. So full 5 days on a run. You know, I did, well, I wasn't really that early. Finished about 3:45 on a Friday. On the run all week, so I was away from home all week. The first night, Monday night, I got to stay in my parents' house in North Wales. So yeah, proper bed, meal and stuff, which yeah, I say is very nice. And then the rest of the week, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, in the back of the van. Yeah, so let's get into the numbers. So Monday, first job, 85 and 118, which is 203 excuse me, for the day. Tuesday, 3 jobs, 65, 106 and 125, which is 296. Wednesday, 85, 3 jobs, so 85, 105, and the Amazon Flex block, which was £66.50. Thursday, best day of the week and best day I've had in a long while. Well, farewell. 4 jobs. Well, kind of like 3 jobs, but 4 jobs, but really one was 2 jobs from one shipper and I did them at the same time. So really it's 3 jobs, but 65, 68, 45 and 255, which was the late job down to sort of Essex Way, 433 for the day, and then Friday just at 120 for the day, which got me home. I say it's a really late start on a Friday, slightly early finish. Just kind of got me home, and I'd already made my target money for the week by the end of Thursday. So total pre-VAT, pre-costs, pre-everything, income of £1,308.50. It works out at £261.70 takings for each day on average. Mileage from leaving here on a Monday to getting back on the Friday, so all miles loaded and unloaded, 1,388, which works out at an all miles pence per mile of 94.2p a mile. And additional costs, I've did the dart charge once and I've got an account, so I think it's £2.60 or something like that, so very little, really negligible other costs this week. So that's a pretty good week this week. Yeah, I have said my target is kind of if I can do 1,100 for 5 days and keep my pence per mile above 85, that's my target. So obviously I was like over 200 quid over, and my pence per mile was really good this week, so yeah, really good week. It is busy, it is busy, definitely signs of it being busy and getting busy, but earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, it seemed a bit quieter, and I actually haven't got it here. It's in my folder, it was in the house, but that market research I've been doing, which is something I started before I got this van, because I was trying to work out how much demand there was for long wheelbase vans. So I've shown it before. I did do research on Tuesday, and it wasn't as busy like this Tuesday as it was Tuesday a few weeks ago. So, but you're always going to get ups and downs. But towards the end of the week, again, like last week, it's pretty busy. Obviously, I've done well this week because I've just gone through. I did have a few interactions with shippers this week, which is kind of made me think, they're struggling. It's a lot less of a shippers market because it has been a shippers market. I think mainly due to COVID. Obviously, I started literally just before COVID, so I don't really know what it was like before. But like since COVID, it's been a shippers market, maybe the exception of like August last year into September. Then we went into lockdown and it went to shit again. But yeah, I was on one job. I stopped at motorway services quickly to get a sandwich and go to the toilet, and a shipper phoned me, and it was a bad line. And it basically said to me, "Oh, you've done work for us before. We're looking for people to work for us, kind of full time, dedicated. Would you be interested?" And I can't. I was on a job, but I could. It's bad line, so I just said, "Oh, sorry, I'm on a job now at a tip. Not a good time to talk." And I ended the conversation. I didn't catch who it was. I'm now massively curious to know who that was. But yeah, haven't called me back as yet. And this weekend, so yesterday, Saturday, phone call out the blue. I wasn't even logged on to the CX. I've decided this. Normally, I'd have it on all weekend, and I'll be like checking the updates to see if I can get one for Monday. But it's at a stage now, being busy enough. I'm just gonna not log on for like 2 days and just totally switch off. I think that's a good thing to do. Just otherwise, like, you just feel like you're always kind of working. And the phone rang. I thought, who could this be? And it was a shipper. So I wasn't even logged on, so I'm assuming on the CX I won't show up at all, as in available or where I am. And it was a shipper I did the alcohol job with on Monday down to North Wales. And they're kind of like northwest based, but I'm guessing they had alcohol jobs that are really struggling to shift. And they were phoning people up, and he says, "Are you available for work today?" And I just says, "No, not today," because I'd literally just got back from picking the van up from the service and going for a bike ride while it was getting serviced and stuff. And yeah, I worked hard and been away all Monday to Friday, so I'm not going to work Saturday, Sunday. Got to have a life at the end of the day. Yeah, so that's a sign that they're really struggling. And I did get good money for that job down to North Wales because it's where it's going. And it was alcohol, but I didn't realise that when I bid. But anyway, still got good money for it. Yeah, so that's kind of, it's much less of a shipper's market, more of a, getting towards a balanced market now. And I wouldn't, when it gets busy like this, if someone phones me and says, "Oh yeah, do you want to work for us full time?" Even if they're a shipper I quite like working for, I wouldn't do it, because I actually think people say, platforms like this Courier Exchange, CX, are bad for drivers and good for shippers, but that's only when it's like, a shipper's market and there's way more drivers capacity when there is demand. So I like my flexibility, my independence. I would never go in with a shipper, because if you're still on subby rates, the only way you do that is like direct to customer and say, right, I'll do deliveries for you, like a joinery company or something, or whoever. No other shipping company or transport company involved. I'm going direct to you and paying you. You're paying me the full rate. Then maybe I'd consider doing that, but I'd never. I think platforms like the CX, not that as much competition for it, are really actually good for drivers in a way, because if a shipper doesn't pay very well, or doesn't have poor terms, or doesn't pay very well, they're going to struggle to get people. So they've got to pay the right money. They've got to, pay on time. They've got to, be good jobs. Basically, it puts more pressure on them when it's a balanced market. But anyway, that's my spiel. So that's how busy it is. Width. So got a few notes here. Stuff I want to mention. So I mentioned a 2.1 meter restriction. And I backed out pissed a load of people off because I had to reverse back, behind me. But anyway, glad I didn't try it, because I checked online. My van, not including the mirrors, so just the body, is 2.07. So I had 3 centimetres to spare, or 1.5 centimetres either side. I don't think the posts come as high as the mirrors, so in theory I could have fitted through it. It did look narrower than the ones I've been through, and that's why. So yeah, I should have really known how wide my van is, but I know now. Anything sort of like 2.1 or whatever, I just say in my van I was 2.1 wide. I know I work off 2.6 wide. With the mirrors it's 2.4 wide. So it depends on whether it's the little posts or a proper, going under a narrow bridge, which I've done before. It's the only time I ever scratched this van, just after I got it. Yeah, so this summary's going on a bit. Yeah, I did have a few questions last week saying, can I say something this week about stuff that I've answered the questions? But since I started this, I generally answer the questions below the comment, because if I start putting answers in my next video, then it's going to become more like Peter Curry Driver's one, and these videos are long enough anyway. They're quite often like 45-50 minutes, so it's something I don't normally do. Somebody asked about flat rate scheme. So if you're on the flat rate scheme, I've put a link in. Basically, when you go VAT registered, you can either go traditional VAT registered, where you claim back all the VAT that you pay on stuff, but all the VAT you charge the customers you have to give to the taxman. It's different with the flat rate scheme. You keep a portion of it, and then you give the other portion, which is the majority of it, to the taxman, but then you can't claim on the individual tax VAT, on your purchases. But there are a few exceptions. But like I say, just read the gov.uk website. It's really easy to I quite rate the gov.uk website. It's written simple English and stuff. Even I can follow it, and you don't have to be up with kind of formal legal jargon and all that stuff to understand it. Somebody else asked about what's my actual take home, after tax, but that depends on how much I earn per year, because obviously the first, I think it's 12.5 grandish now you don't pay any income tax on. So I'm never going to be more than the lower band. I think you have to earn more than 40k. So yeah, you could do it in maybe a Luton and stuff if you really went for it and worked like 6-7 days a week. But yeah, again, check the gov.uk website. Yeah, as ever, any questions or any comments or tips for me or anyone else who watches, please put them below, and thank you for watching.